Hey crafty friends, it's Martin from martinsmayhem.co.uk and I am back today with a video sponsored by Altenew. You know that I love Altenew products and Altenew tends to like me, so it's always positive. Now today's deal is based on these classic letters dies and you can get 40% off with code MARTINCLASSIC. Now, in pounds, it's about £78. With the discount code, it's down to 46. So it's a big old saving. So yeah, 100% would recommend. And taxes and all that stuff we have to pay in the UK with Altenew. So be mindful of that. You're saving on your taxes as well. So this card, I am stamping onto a white. You can see I've cut a matte layer. Well, my normal size is this is a standard A2 card, which is 10.5 centimeters by 14.8, and I've cut a matte layer, which is 12.8 centimeters by 8.5. So plenty to be kind of working with. And I have stamped over the gorgeous peony it's peony and lilac swag bundle, which is these gorgeous peonies, some other little flowers, and I'm colouring them in with my favourite markers. If you're new here, you'll see me use these markers a lot because the colours are gorgeous. So this is the Cottage Garden alcohol marker set from Altenew, otherwise known as Set N in their collection. It's 9 markers and it's gorgeous. The colours, especially the pink, is just so pretty, which is why I go back to it time and time again. Now I am colouring in the leaves with all 4 green markers. I did have a slight issue with one of the middle marker colours. I couldn't get the lid off the pen end. So throughout the video, I do just leave that open just so I don't have to mess around again. Now, because I've stamped off, or I've stamped the image across my card base and matte layer, so that when I align the matte layer back on, it can line up perfectly with the image. Now, I'm only going to colour in the matte layer. I'm going to leave the card base in black and white. Why? I don't know. Creative license. It's just the vibe I felt to go for. And actually, I really like the style. It kind of brings the design of the project full circle by having the different layers. Like you could literally call me Mary Berry because I am bringing you layers with this project. Now I'm colouring the flowers with the yellow. Now there are 2 of these flowers on the project, but there's only 1 on this card from the way that it's been stamped. The peony and swag stamps or bundle. So in the bundle you get the stamp set, dies. You can get the add-on. No, the dies are add-on and you have stencils as well. So you're good to go. I chose to use alcohol markers for colouring just because I wanted this particular colour pattern. However, you could quite easily ink blend this and it would look just as good and as effective, and it would have been a lot quicker than what I'm doing, admittedly. Now, I apologize about the colour of the video. It is very warm in the UK, and the only time you're going to find me sat at my desk crafting is in the very early hours when it's still reasonably cold. It's just too warm. But nevertheless, this video is done. Doing the voiceover now. Sat here very, very warm, but we'll get through it. And I'm also sat in a different room, so if it's a little bit echoey, I apologise. And if you can hear banging, it's because Sean's around and Winnie is under my feet sniffing around the joys. And she just heard her name. Anyway, so I'm colouring in the peonies now. Now the peonies are quite big, which takes a little bit more time to colour. But honestly, what I did is I tend to use the lightest colour most. So my strawberry marker is very well loved and a little bit dry. So I decided to use the primary colour as the second to lightest colour. Can't remember the name. And what that did was help me kind of create a lot of depth, but also not use so much of my lightest marker. And I just think these colours are gorgeous. Like, honestly, these pinks, my favourite. Anyway, we're not actually here to talk about the bundle or the alcohol markers. We're here to talk about the classic letters die set. Now, I am aware of these dies. I've seen them before. I have just received them in my Altenew package, and you know what? I love them. I have just posted recently a card using these dies, and I kind of went for the sentiment was girl, you're totally awesome, I think, or something like that. Um, but I did it in really kind of bold colours, which contrasted. Did I like it in the end? I don't know. I did do a poll on Instagram and people were like, yeah. So yeah, who knows? But yeah. So I will be using these dies as a subtle background. Now I can't think of the name of the technique, so someone's going to have to tell me the name of the technique before I post this video. That is basically where you cut out of something and then you put it back in, but at a slightly different height. Yeah, I don't know. It's not coming to me, and I'm not going to Google because I don't want you to hear the tap, tip, 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 tap, tap, tip, tip. I can't even say it. Tip tapping of the keyboard. Now you can see this is quickly coming together. This video in total was only about an hour, so it wasn't very long, and it just is going to make it really pretty. Now all the products in today's video are linked down below. There is also a full list over on my website with lots of details and some photos of this project. By all means, pop over, shop with me. Everything kind of just helps me keep making. I say over to like I'm not embarrassed to say like I work full time. This is not a full time gig, and the dream would be to do it full time. And to do that, one needs to make money. So if you're shopping with Altenew, just click on my link. It helps. There's no additional cost to you. It's Altenew who pay me a commission off of that sale, and you know what? It honestly doesn't hurt. But I very much appreciate it. And from my background as a stamp demonstrator previously, I kind of sit there sometimes when I do get a notification of a click, and I'm just like, I need to go thank that person. But I can't because I don't actually know who's placed the order. So thank you if you have. It's very much appreciated. What was I going to say now? These markers now are purples. So I looked at the kind of flowers in the background and I was thinking, that's like lavender. Spoke to my partner who loves his garden and he was like, no, that's not lavender. But I'm going to assume it's lilac considering the name of the product. And I did this in purple. Now, what colours did I actually use? I grabbed set D, which is the Rock Garden Artist Alcohol Marker set. There are a group of pinky purples in there, which are just gorgeous. I found all the other Altenew purples are quite deep and dark, which is fine if that's the vibe you're going for. But this card, I was going bright, colourful, in your face. And yeah, super cute. So that's all done. I have got those dies, and what I'm doing is I'm lining them up where I want it to go. Now I've chose XO for hugs and kisses. Oh, I've just it's kisses and hugs. I've done it the wrong way, but oh well, no one cares. And I'm gonna I've cut them out of that card panel, and then I'm cutting out two extras out of just white cardstock. Now, these are going to be popped into a space so that I can naturally lift up the X and the O while still having it show in the background. I am just going to add a piece of white just behind this, just so I have something to glue it onto. And it's just slightly smaller so you can't see it. And yeah, really cute. So I'm going to add in the first O, and that's going to give me the base for that inner circle. And then I'm just going to start layering up the additional die cuts. And now this was the tricky bit, is getting it lined up. And honestly, if I tell you the stress of this card, of lining up all of the little lines, never again. Never again. I mean, it was fun, don't get me wrong, but yeah, never again. And did you guys know there's a right way to an X? Literally, I've put that upside down. I didn't realise, but there you go. There's a right way to the X. So these are just going to pop on. It's just going to add some detail in the backgrounds. I've gone for hugs and kisses because I was thinking of something like these are big dies. Like I think they're like 2 inches high, 2.5 maybe. Um, so they're chunky dies, and like I tried to put mum onto the card, too big, so that didn't work. But yeah, exos worked, and it worked well with the sentiment. Because I'm doing white, I am just going to add a little bit of a black ink splatter to it, just adds a little bit extra detail. One thing I do regret not doing is adding like a little bit of a blue background to it, but lesson learned for next time. In the stamp set, there is Sending Hugs, which I thought was quite fitting, and I've embossed that in black onto some vellum. Now I'm going to die cut that as well, which I think I don't do on the camera, but I don't know. And I'm going to then stick that onto a card. Now there is a secondary sentiment, which I haven't actually recorded me stamping because it was completely off, because you know that was a bit silly. But you can see it here. I'm just going to cut it down into a little strip. That's black on white. And now for the vellum sentiment, I am just stacking up some glue dots to make some clear like foam adhesive, but it's not foam, it's glue dots. And then I'm going to just cut up a teeny tiny strip for our strip sentiment, and that's just going to go on like so. Once that's in place, all what's left is some iridescent sequins, which from Altenew are my favourite thing ever. I absolutely love these sequins, not just these ones, the whole Stellar sequins range. I need them all. You can see I'm actually running out of these ones because I use them all the time. They're the iridescent ones and they have like a pinky blue shimmer to it. Gorgeous. Now, the video is wrapping up quite quickly and I always run out of time. So I do just want to say thank you for watching the video. I am still learning. If the volume's terrible, I'm sorry. If the video is terrible, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. But I equally appreciate your feedback, so let me know how terrible it is in the comments. I welcome it. And there is today's card. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget that discount code MARTINCLASSIC for 40% off. Otherwise, thank you for watching and make sure you subscribe. Bye.